I'm 71 years old, and I almost lost everything to a woman I thought loved me. My children tried to warn me. I called them jealous. I called them selfish. I told my own daughter she wasn't welcome in my home anymore. I chose a woman I'd known for 14 months over the children I'd raised for 46 years. And the whole time, while she slept next to me, while she cooked my meals, while she told me she loved me, she was counting the days until she could take my house, my savings, my life insurance, and my dignity. Her name was Vanessa. She'd done this before, at least twice that we know of, to two other lonely old men just like me. One of them is dead. I don't know if she killed him. The police are still investigating. But I know this, if my daughter hadn't refused to give up on me, I might have been next. My name is Howard Prescott, and this is the story of how I almost became the victim of a professional gold digger and how my family saved me from losing everything. But before I tell you about Vanessa, I need to tell you about Margaret, because none of this makes sense without understanding who I lost, what she meant to me, why I became so desperate that I fell for the most obvious scam in the book. I met Margaret Rose Callahan in September of 1976. We were both 17 years old. She was sitting in front of me in chemistry class, and when she turned around to borrow a pencil, I forgot how to speak. Brown hair, green eyes, a smile that made everything else in the room disappear. I asked her to homecoming 2 weeks later. She said yes, and from that moment until the day she died, I never wanted to be with anyone else. We got married in 1980, right after college. I just started my first job at Boeing, aerospace engineer, entry level, barely making enough to cover rent. Maggie was teaching second grade. We had a one-bedroom apartment and a car that broke down every other month. We were happy, happier than I've ever been since. 45 years we were married. We raised 2 kids in that time. Claire came along in 1979, Daniel in 1982. We moved to Arizona in 1995 when Boeing transferred me, bought a house in Scottsdale, paid it off in 2010. We had plans, Maggie and I. Travel the world when I retired, see the grandkids every weekend, grow old together on the patio watching Arizona sunsets. Then, in 2018, Maggie started forgetting things. It was small at first, a word she couldn't find, a name she couldn't remember, a pot left on the stove too long. I told myself it was just age. We were both in our mid-60s. Everyone gets forgetful. But it got worse, faster than I expected. She forgot how to get home from the grocery store we'd been going to for 20 years. She forgot our anniversary. She forgot Claire's birthday. One morning, she looked at me across the breakfast table and asked, "Who are you?" The doctors said it was Alzheimer's, early onset for her age, but aggressive. They gave her medications that didn't work, therapies that didn't help, timelines that kept getting shorter. For 5 years, I watched my wife disappear. I was her caregiver, full-time. I'd retired from Boeing in 2017, and thank God I did, because by 2019, Maggie couldn't be left alone. I bathed her, dressed her, fed her, held her when she cried because she couldn't remember where she was, or who I was, or why everything was so confusing. The woman who'd remembered every anniversary, every birthday, every little thing that mattered, she couldn't remember my name by the end. She died on February 14th, 2023, Valentine's Day, the cruelest irony I can imagine. I was holding her hand. She was looking at me, and for just a moment, one perfect moment, I saw recognition in her eyes. "Howard," she whispered. Then she was gone. After Maggie died, I didn't know how to live. I don't mean that in a dramatic, suicidal way. I mean I literally didn't know how to function. Maggie had done everything. The cooking, the cleaning, the bills, the social calendar. I'd spent 45 years focused on work while she made our life run. Without her, I was lost. I couldn't cook anything more complicated than scrambled eggs. I didn't know how to work the washing machine. I forgot to pay the electric bill for 3 months because Maggie had always handled it automatically. Claire and Daniel came to help in those first few weeks. Claire organized the house, taught me how to use grocery delivery apps. Daniel sorted out the finances, set up autopay for everything. But they had their own lives, their own families. They couldn't stay forever. After a month, I was alone. The house was so quiet. 50 years of marriage, and suddenly, silence. No one to talk to at dinner, no one to watch TV with at night, no one to reach for in bed when the darkness got too heavy. Claire suggested grief counseling. I resisted at first. I'm not the type of man who talks about his feelings to strangers. But after 6 months of staring at the walls, I finally agreed. The support group met every Thursday at the community center. 12 people, all of us missing someone. We'd sit in a circle and talk about our loved ones, our grief, our struggles. It helped, a little. And that's where I met Vanessa. She walked in about 6 months after Maggie died, new to the group. Lost her husband to cancer, she said. Moved to Arizona from California for a fresh start. She was beautiful. Blonde hair, bright eyes, warm smile. Younger than me, early 50s I guessed, but mature, put together, sympathetic. After the meeting, she approached me. "Howard, right? I heard you speak about your wife, the Alzheimer's. 5 years as her caregiver." She touched my arm gently. "That must have been so hard. You're a good man to have stayed by her like that." No one had said that to me, not in all the months since Maggie died. Everyone talked about how hard it was for Maggie, how tragic her disease was. No one acknowledged what I'd gone through. But Vanessa did. We started talking after every meeting, then getting coffee after the sessions, then dinner once a week, then twice. She was easy to talk to. She understood grief. She didn't try to rush me or fix me. She just listened, made me laugh, made me feel like I wasn't just some old man waiting to die. For the first time since Maggie's diagnosis, I felt alive. Looking back, I should have noticed things. The way she asked questions about my career, my retirement, my finances. Boeing, wow, they must have treated you well. You own this beautiful house outright? That's so smart. How's your retirement account structured? I'm trying to learn for myself. I thought she was just interested in me, in my life. I didn't realize she was taking inventory. She never talked about her own past. I knew she'd been married before. Her husband died of cancer, she said. But she never mentioned his name, never shared photos, never talked about their life together. When I asked, she'd get tearful. "It's still too painful, Howard. I hope you understand." I understood. I thought I understood. Grief is personal. Everyone handles it differently. I didn't realize she was hiding. And then there were her friends, or rather her lack of them. She had no local connections, no family she mentioned, no one from her past who called or visited. "I'm starting fresh," she said. "All my connections are back in California. I needed a clean break." That made sense to me. Arizona is full of transplants, people escaping their old lives for something new. I didn't realize she was escaping something very specific. But at the time, I saw none of it. I was too lonely, too desperate for companionship, too ready to believe that something good had finally happened after years of watching my wife fade away. So when Vanessa suggested moving in after 8 months, I said yes. When she suggested getting married after 14 months, I said yes to that too. And when Claire, my own daughter, tried to stop me, I chose Vanessa over her. I'll regret that for the rest of my life. The wedding was on April 12, 2024. Courthouse ceremony, quick and simple. Vanessa said she didn't want a big production. "I just want to be your wife, Howard. I don't need a fancy party." I thought it was romantic. No fuss, no drama. Just two people in love, making it official. Claire and Daniel came. They weren't happy about it, but they came. After the ceremony, while Vanessa was talking to the clerk, Claire pulled me aside. "Dad, please, something's not right about her. We've only known her for a year. You barely know anything about her past. Please, just wait. Let us get to know her better." I felt my jaw tighten. "Claire, I've been alone for 2 years. I've found someone who makes me happy. And all you can do is find reasons to criticize? That's not what You just can't accept that I'm moving on from your mother. That's what this is about. You want me to be miserable forever." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "Dad, Mom would want you to be happy, but she'd also want you to be careful. Something about Vanessa doesn't feel right. I can't explain it, but..." "Then don't." I turned away. "I'm going home with my wife. Call me when you're ready to support me instead of attacking me." I walked away, left my daughter standing there, crying on what was supposed to be the happiest day of my new life. That night, lying in bed, Vanessa held me close. "Don't worry about Claire, honey. She'll come around eventually. It's just the two of us now, and that's all we need." At the time, I thought she was being supportive. Looking back, I realized she was telling me exactly what she wanted. Just the two of us. No family, no interference. No one to see what she was really doing. And for the next 18 months, that's exactly what she got. The changes started small. Little things I barely noticed at first. Vanessa would answer my phone when it rang. "You're relaxing, honey. Let me get that." She'd check the mail before I did, just helping out. She started rearranging the house, moving furniture, redecorating. "This place needs a woman's touch, Howard." Margaret had her style, but I want us to build something new together. I didn't argue. It seemed reasonable, natural even. A new marriage, a new start. But then Claire called one Sunday afternoon. I was in the den reading. Vanessa answered in the kitchen. "Oh, Claire. No, your father's resting right now. He's been so tired lately. Can he call you back?" "Yes, I'll tell him. Bye now." I heard her hang up. "Was that Claire?" I called out. Vanessa came to the doorway. "Yes, honey. She just wanted to check in. I told her you'd call back when you're feeling up to it. I'm feeling fine. I could have talked to her." Vanessa smiled. "You've been stressed, Howard. Your blood pressure. The doctor said you need to relax. Your kids mean well, but they just get you worked up." I thought about it. My blood pressure had been elevated at my last checkup. Maybe she was right. "I'll call her tomorrow," I said. I didn't call. Somehow I never got around to it. And the next time Claire called, Vanessa said I was in the shower. And the time after that, I was napping. Looking back, I can see what she was doing, cutting me off, one phone call at a time. But in the moment, each individual excuse seemed harmless. That's how isolation works. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in tiny steps, so small you don't notice until you're completely alone. About 4 months into the marriage, I started noticing the money. Credit card bills were higher than I expected, much higher. Furniture purchases I didn't remember approving. Designer clothes from stores I'd never heard of. Restaurant charges from places I'd never been. When I asked Vanessa, she had explanations for everything. "The furniture is for the guest room, honey. We talked about this. Don't you remember?" I didn't remember. But lately, I didn't remember a lot of things. I chalked it up to age, to grief, to the stress of adjusting to a new marriage. "The clothes are for your birthday surprise," she said another time. "I wanted to take you somewhere nice, but if you'd rather I didn't." She looked hurt, wounded, like I was accusing her of something terrible. No, I said quickly. "I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting." "Howard, you worked for 38 years. You have a good pension, good savings. What's the point of all that money if we don't enjoy it?" She kissed my cheek. "Trust me, honey, I'm taking care of everything." So I let her. 2 months later, Vanessa suggested we add her to my bank accounts. Just for emergencies, Howard. What if something happens to you and I can't access funds? What if there's a medical situation and I need to pay bills quickly? It made sense. She was my wife. We were supposed to share everything. I added her to my checking account, then my savings, then my investment account. I didn't realize I was handing her the keys to my entire life. Over the next year, money started disappearing. Not all at once, that would have been too obvious. Just a steady drip. 10,000 here, 20,000 there. Transfers to accounts I didn't recognize. Investments in opportunities she never explained. When I asked questions, she'd get defensive. Are you accusing me of something, Howard? After everything I do for you? I manage this house. I take care of you. I gave up my life in California to be with you. And this is the thanks I get? She'd cry, real tears, or what looked like real tears. And I'd feel guilty, apologize, let it go. By the time I finally looked at the full picture, she'd taken over $180,000. But that wasn't even the worst part. About 14 months into the marriage, Vanessa brought up the will. We were having dinner, candles, wine. She'd made my favorite, pot roast, like Maggie used to make. She was thoughtful that way. Howard, I've been thinking about the future. What about it? Well, you have your children as beneficiaries on everything. Your will, your life insurance, your retirement accounts. She reached across the table and took my hand. But I'm your wife now. Shouldn't I be protected too? If something happens to you, nothing's going to happen to me. But if it did, her eyes were earnest, concerned. I gave up everything to be with you. I left California, left my friends, left my whole life. If you passed away and everything went to Claire and Daniel, where would I be? Out on the street?
That wouldn't happen. The kids would take care of you. Vanessa's expression flickered, just for a second. Would they, Howard? Claire can barely stand to be in the same room as me. Daniel hasn't visited in months. They don't accept me. And if you were gone, she squeezed my hand, I'd be alone, with nothing. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Part of me, the engineer part, the analytical part, knew something was wrong with this conversation. We'd been married barely a year. She was already talking about what happens when I die? But another part of me, the lonely part, the part that had spent 5 years watching Maggie fade away, just wanted to make her happy. I'll think about it, I said. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to shake the feeling that something was very wrong. But I didn't act on it, not yet. The next morning, I got a call from Daniel. Not through the house phone, Vanessa answered those. He called my cell phone directly, early, before she was awake. Dad, we need to talk. Daniel, it's 6 in the morning. I know, I didn't want Vanessa to answer. He paused. Dad, Claire and I have been trying to reach you for months. You never call back, you never answer, and when we do get through, you're always resting or busy. Things have been… Dad, I'm a software engineer. I know how to track things online. His voice was tight. I've been looking at your financial accounts, the ones you gave me access to back when Mom died. I didn't think about it until Claire mentioned she was worried, so I checked. I sat up slowly. You checked my accounts? Dad, there's over $150,000 missing. Transfers to accounts I don't recognize. Purchases that don't make sense. And it's all happened since you married Vanessa. My heart was pounding. Daniel, I'm sure there's an explanation. Dad, listen to me. Claire hired someone, a private investigator. She wouldn't give up. And he found things about Vanessa. What things? Daniel was quiet for a moment. Dad, Vanessa Cole didn't exist until 5 years ago. Before that, she was someone else. Actually, she was 2 different people. And both of them married wealthy older men. One in California, one in Nevada. I couldn't speak. The guy in California, she took him for $400,000 in the divorce. But the one in Nevada, Dad? Daniel's voice dropped. He died 3 months after he changed his will to make her the sole beneficiary. Heart failure, and he had no history of heart problems. Daniel, that can't be right. The investigator is sure. He found records, marriage certificates, court documents. The Nevada guy's name was Richard Torres. His family pushed for an investigation, but nothing came of it at the time. But now, he paused. Dad, Claire is scared. I'm scared. We think you might be in real danger. I heard footsteps upstairs. Vanessa was waking up.
I have to go. Dad, please, meet with Claire. Let her show you what we found. Just please be careful around Vanessa until you know more. I hung up just as Vanessa came down the stairs. Who were you talking to, honey? Wrong number, I said. She smiled and kissed my forehead. I'll make breakfast. I watched her walk to the kitchen. The woman I'd married. The woman who slept next to me every night. A possible murderer. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I waited until Vanessa was sound asleep, her breathing deep and even. Then I got up quietly, went to my study, closed the door. On my desk was a framed photo of Margaret. Our 50th anniversary was supposed to be next year. We never made it. I picked up the photo and looked at her face. Maggie, what have I done? The silence was deafening. I was so lonely, so lost without you, and she came along and made me feel alive again. But now I don't know who she is. I don't know what's real anymore. My hands were shaking. I pushed our children away, our Claire, our Daniel. They tried to warn me, and I called them jealous. I called them selfish. And the whole time, they were just trying to protect me. I wiped my eyes with the back of my hand. I've been such a fool, Maggie. Such a goddamn fool. I sat there for a long time, holding that photo, thinking about 45 years of marriage, thinking about Claire's face at the wedding when I told her to leave, thinking about the $180,000 that was gone, thinking about Richard Torres. And finally, the engineer part of my brain kicked in. I'd spent 38 years solving complex problems, analyzing systems, finding flaws, building solutions. If Vanessa was running a con, there was a system to it, a pattern, and patterns could be broken. I set down Margaret's photo. I'm going to fix this, Maggie. I promise you, I'm going to fix this. 3 days later, I met Claire for lunch. Vanessa thought I was at a doctor's appointment. I'd scheduled a real one, just a routine blood pressure check, so the alibi would hold if she asked. Claire was already at the restaurant when I arrived. She stood up when she saw me, and I saw the hesitation in her eyes, the hurt I'd caused. Dad, Claire. I hugged her, held on longer than I should have. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. She pulled back, eyes glistening. Let's sit down. There's a lot to talk about. She had a folder with her, thick, full of documents. This is everything Ray DeLuca found. He's the investigator I hired. She slid it across the table. I didn't want to believe it, Dad. I wanted to be wrong about her. But I opened the folder. The first page was a photo. Vanessa, younger, different hair, but definitely her. The caption read, Vanessa Mitchell, California, 2016.
She was married to a man named Harold Patterson, Claire explained. 72 years old, wealthy, they met at a grief support group. He'd lost his wife 6 months earlier. They were married for 3 years. She took him for everything. Cash, investments, half the house. The divorce was ugly. He died 2 years later. Stress-related heart attack. I turned the page. Another photo, another name. Vanessa Harmon, Nevada, 2020. Richard Torres, 74 years old, also a widower, also met her at a grief group. They were married for 18 months. Claire's voice was quiet now. He died 3 months after changing his will to make her the sole beneficiary. heart failure. But according to his family, he had no history of heart problems. He'd just had a physical, clean bill of health. I looked at Claire. The investigator found something else. There was a report, a toxicology report that was supposed to be routine, but it went missing from the hospital system. Richard's daughter pushed for an investigation, but nothing came of it. The case went cold. She reached across the table and took my hand. But it's not cold anymore. Ray has contacts in Nevada, a detective who remembers the case. They're reopening the investigation. I stared at the documents, photos, marriage certificates, court records. 3 husbands, 3 wealthy widowers, 2 divorces, 1 death. And now, me. Claire, I said slowly, why didn't you just call the police? Because we don't have proof of a crime yet, not one that would hold up. The divorces were legal. The death was ruled natural causes. But if we can catch her doing something now, stealing from you, trying to change your will, we can build a case. And if Richard Torres, Claire's eyes were hard, then we stop her before she does it again, before she does it to you. The next morning, I called Daniel. I need your help tracking the money, all of it, every dollar that's left my accounts in the last 18 months. Daniel had it ready within a day. $183,000 gone. Some to investment opportunities that didn't exist. Shell companies with no assets, no employees, no actual business. Some transferred to accounts in Vanessa's name alone. Some converted to cash and simply vanished. Dad, you need a lawyer, a good one, someone who specializes in this kind of thing. Claire found her, Sandra Chen, family law attorney with experience in financial exploitation cases. I met with Sandra that Friday, showed her everything, Ray's file, Daniel's financial report, the whole ugly picture. Mr. Prescott, Sandra said when she'd finished reviewing, you're not the first person I've seen in this situation, and unfortunately, you won't be the last. What can I do?
Several things. First, we file for divorce immediately. That freezes the accounts and prevents further damage. Second, we document everything she's taken. Third, we build a case for fraud. The fake investments, the identity changes, the pattern of targeting widowers. What about the Nevada case, Richard Torres? Sandra nodded. That's the key. If Nevada reopens the investigation and finds something, anything, it changes everything. It goes from a messy divorce to criminal prosecution. And if they don't find anything, then we settle the divorce, you lose some of what's left, and she walks away to find the next victim. Sandra leaned forward. But here's what I need from you, Mr. Prescott. I need more evidence, conversations, documents, anything that shows her intent, her knowledge of what she was doing. Arizona is a one-party consent state, I said. I'd looked it up. Sandra smiled slightly. You've done your homework. I was an engineer for 38 years. Research is what I do. Then here's what I propose. You go home, you act normal. You tell her you've thought about the will and you're willing to update it. Get her talking. Record everything. You want me to pretend everything is fine while living with a woman who might have killed her last husband? Sandra didn't flinch. I want you to gather evidence, and then I want you to burn her life to the ground, legally. I thought about it, about going home to that woman, smiling at her, kissing her, acting like I didn't know. The hardest role I'd ever have to play. When do we start? I asked. As soon as you're ready, Mr. Prescott. As soon as you're ready. That night, I drove home. Vanessa was in the living room, watching TV. She smiled when I walked in. There you are, honey. Long appointment. Everything okay with the blood pressure? Fine, I said. Doctor says I'm doing better. Good. She patted the couch beside her. Come sit. I made dinner. Your favorite. I sat down. She rested her head on my shoulder. And I smiled. Because somewhere in my jacket pocket was a voice recorder. And in 3 days, I was going to ask her about the will. And she was going to tell me exactly what she wanted. And she was going to hang herself with her own words. The next 3 days were the longest of my life. I went home that night and smiled at Vanessa like nothing had changed. Ate the dinner she made, watched TV beside her on the couch, went to bed next to a woman who might have killed her last husband. Every time she touched me, my skin crawled. Every time she said, "I love you," I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I was an engineer. I'd spent 38 years building things that had to be perfect. Aircraft don't allow for mistakes. One flaw in the system and people die. This was the same. One slip and she'd know. She'd run. She'd disappear with whatever money she could grab and find another victim. I couldn't let that happen. So I smiled. I nodded. I played the fool one last time. And I recorded everything. On the third night, I brought up the will. We were in the living room after dinner. Vanessa was sipping wine. I had the voice recorder in my shirt pocket, the button undone slightly so the microphone could pick up clearly. "Vanessa, I've been thinking about what you said the other night." She looked up. "What's that, honey?" "About the will, about making sure you're protected." Her eyes lit up, just for a second. Then she composed herself, put on that concerned, loving expression. "Howard, you don't have to." "No, I want to. You're right. You gave up everything to be with me. If something happened to me, you shouldn't have to worry about money." She set down her wine glass, took my hand. "That means so much to me, Howard. You don't know how scared I've been. Claire and Daniel, they've made it clear they don't accept me. And if you were gone..." "I know. I should have thought about it sooner." "So, you'll update the will? Make me the beneficiary?" "I'm meeting with my lawyer next week. We'll change everything. The will, the life insurance, the retirement accounts." I paused. "I want you to be taken care of, Vanessa, the way you've taken care of me." She leaned in and kissed me. "You're such a good man, Howard. I'm so lucky I found you." I smiled. Inside, I felt sick. Over the next 2 days, I gathered more. I found documents in her desk drawer, the desk she'd brought with her when she moved in. Bank statements from accounts I didn't know existed. Credit card bills in her name with a California address. Notes in her handwriting, numbers, dates, account details. I photographed everything. I also found something else, a burner phone, hidden in a shoebox at the back of her closet. I didn't touch it, didn't want her to know I'd been looking, but I told Daniel about it. He said it was probably how she communicated with whoever was helping her move the money. "She's not doing this alone, Dad," he said. "There's infrastructure here, shell companies, fake investments. Someone's helping her launder the cash. Can you find out who?" "I'm working on it. Just keep her comfortable for a few more days. We're almost there." A few more days. I could do a few more days. Friday morning. I told Vanessa I had a golf game with an old Boeing colleague. A lie. I was meeting Sandra Chen at her office to finalize the plan. "Have fun, honey," Vanessa said, kissing my cheek. "I'll make something special for dinner." Looking forward to it. I walked out the door, got in my car, drove away. I didn't look back. At Sandra's office, I met with Claire and Daniel. Ray DeLuca was there too, the investigator who'd uncovered Vanessa's past. "We've got everything we need," Sandra said. "The recordings, the financial documents, the identity fraud, plus Ray's investigation into her previous marriages." "What about Nevada?" I asked. "Richard Torres?"
Ray spoke up. "The detective I know down there, Martinez, she's been digging. They found something." "What?" "The toxicology report that went missing? A backup copy existed in the hospital's archive system. It showed elevated levels of digoxin in Torres's system." "Digoxin?" Heart medication causes heart failure in high doses, but Torres wasn't prescribed digoxin. He had no reason to have it in his system. The room went quiet. "She poisoned him," Claire said softly. "We can't prove that definitively, not yet. But Detective Martinez is treating it as a homicide investigation now. They're looking at who had access to Torres in his final weeks, who benefited from his death." "Vanessa," I said. "Vanessa, or whatever her real name really is." Ray pulled out a document. "By the way, we finally traced her real identity. Birth certificate, social security records. Her real name is Patricia Ann Weber. Born in Ohio, 1973. 3 marriages before California. All of them ended badly for the husband." I stared at the document. Patricia Ann Weber. I didn't even know my wife's real name. The confrontation was set for that evening. I drove home around 4 o'clock. Vanessa was in the kitchen, preparing dinner like she'd promised. Something smelled like rosemary and garlic. "How was golf?" she asked. "Good. Shot an 82. Not my best, but not bad." "That's my champion," she smiled. "Dinner will be ready in about an hour." "Perfect. I'm going to shower and change." I went upstairs, took a long shower, stood under the water and thought about what was coming. 45 years with Margaret, 18 months with this woman. One was the love of my life. The other was a predator who saw me as nothing more than a bank account with a pulse. I dried off, got dressed, went back downstairs. At 5:30, the doorbell rang. Vanessa looked up from the stove. "Are we expecting someone?" "Actually, yes." I walked to the door. "I forgot to mention, my lawyer is stopping by. Some paperwork for the will update." Vanessa's face brightened. "Oh, wonderful. I'll set another place for dinner." I opened the door. Sandra Chen stood on the porch. Behind her was Claire. Vanessa's smile froze. "Howard, what's going on?" "Come in," I said to Sandra and Claire. "We have a lot to discuss." We moved to the living room. Vanessa stood by the fireplace, arms crossed. Her eyes kept darting between me, Sandra, and Claire. The warm, loving expression was gone. In its place was something harder, calculating. "I don't understand," she said. "Howard, what is this about?" Sandra set her briefcase on the coffee table and opened it. "Mrs. Prescott, or should I say Miss Weber, my name is Sandra Chen. I'm representing your husband in what is about to become a very complicated divorce proceeding." Vanessa's face went pale. "Weber? I don't know what you're—"
Patricia Ann Weber, born June 3, 1973, in Columbus, Ohio. 3 marriages in the 1990s. Then you became Vanessa Mitchell in California 2015, married Harold Patterson, divorced 2019, $400,000 in the settlement. Sandra pulled out a document. Then you became Vanessa Harmon in Nevada 2020, married Richard Torres. She set down a photograph. Richard Torres, a smiling man in his 70s. Alive. He died in 2022, 3 months after he changed his will to make you the sole beneficiary. Vanessa's hand trembled slightly, but her voice was steady. "Richard had a heart condition. Everyone knew that." "No, he didn't." Sandra pulled out another document. His medical records show no history of cardiac problems. His physical 2 months before his death showed a healthy heart. She set down the toxicology report. But his autopsy did show elevated levels of dioxin, a medication he was never prescribed. Vanessa said nothing. Nevada has reopened the investigation into Richard Torres's death. Detective Maria Martinez is leading the case. She's very interested in speaking with you. I watched Vanessa's face, watched the mask finally slip. She wasn't scared. Not exactly. She was calculating, looking for an exit, looking for a play.
"This is ridiculous," she said. "Howard, honey, these people are lying to you. Claire has never liked me. She's been trying to break us apart since the beginning. Claire didn't poison Richard Torres. Neither did I. Maybe, maybe not. But you did steal $183,000 from my accounts. You did create fake investment schemes to launder the money. You did use at least 3 different identities to target wealthy widowers." I stood up slowly. "And you did come to my grief support group specifically to find your next victim." Vanessa stared at me. "I have recordings, Vanessa. 3 days of conversations. You asking me to change my will. You encouraging me to cut off my children. You explaining how simple it would be to update my life insurance." I pulled the voice recorder from my pocket and set it on the table. "It's all here." "You recorded me?" "Arizona is a one-party consent state. I consented." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Vanessa laughed, a cold, bitter sound. "So now, Howard, you take me to court? Drag my name through the mud? It's your word against mine." Sandra smiled slightly. "Actually, it's considerably more than that. Ray DeLuca, the investigator who uncovered your history, has documented everything. Previous victims, identity fraud, financial transfers, the connection between your marriages and your target's deaths or financial ruin." She pulled out a thick folder and dropped it on the table. "This file has already been shared with the Arizona Attorney General's office, and with Detective Martinez in Nevada, and with the California Department of Justice, who are now reviewing Harold Patterson's estate."
Vanessa's composure cracked, just slightly. "You're bluffing." "Ms. Weber, I've been practicing law for 25 years. I don't bluff." Sandra stood up. "Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, my office will file for divorce on grounds of fraud. All joint accounts have already been frozen. That happened this afternoon. Your credit cards in Howard's name have been canceled. The house is in Howard's name alone, and you will be required to vacate within 72 hours. You can't do that. I'm his wife." A wife who committed identity fraud, financial exploitation, and possibly murder. I think a judge will see it our way." Vanessa turned to me, and for the first time, I saw something real in her eyes. Desperation. "Howard, please. I know I made mistakes. I know I took money I shouldn't have. But I love you. I really do. Can't we work this out? Just the 2 of us." I looked at her. This woman who'd slept next to me for 18 months, who'd told me she loved me every day, who'd held me when I cried about Margaret, who'd slowly, methodically cut me off from everyone who actually loved me. "The only mistake you made," I said, "was thinking I was too old and too stupid to figure out what you were doing." I picked up Margaret's photo from the mantel, looked at her face, then looked back at Vanessa. I spent 45 years with a woman who loved me for who I am, not for what I have. I know the difference now, and you're not even close. I set the photo down. "Get out of my house." She didn't argue anymore, just grabbed her purse, her car keys, and walked out the front door. Claire was crying. Sandra was already on the phone with someone, probably Ray or the police. I stood at the window and watched Vanessa get in her car, watched her drive away. And just like that, 18 months of my life disappeared down the street. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. Vanessa, or Patricia, or whatever name she's using now, didn't contest it. She couldn't. The evidence was too overwhelming. Sandra structured the settlement so she got nothing, not a penny. She signed under threat of criminal prosecution. Nevada moved forward with the Richard Torres investigation. Last I heard, they're preparing to file charges, murder 1. If they find her. That's the thing. She ran, skipped town before they could arrest her. Some say she's in Mexico. some say South America. The FBI has a file open, but she's good at disappearing. She's done it before. Of the money she stole, I recovered about $60,000. The rest, over $100,000, was gone. Laundered through shell companies, converted to cash, vanished into whatever network she used. It hurts. I won't pretend it doesn't. But money can be replaced. My family couldn't. Last Sunday, we had dinner at Claire's house.
Everyone was there. Claire and Tom, Daniel and his new girlfriend, a nice woman named Patricia. Yes, the irony wasn't lost on me. The 4 grandchildren running around, making noise, driving everyone crazy. I sat at the head of the table, looking at my family, my real family. "Dad, you okay?" Claire asked. "More than okay, sweetheart, more than okay." After dinner, Daniel helped me load the dishwasher while Claire put the kids to bed. "You know, Dad," he said, "I was really scared for a while there, scared we'd lost you. You almost did. But we didn't, because you listened. Eventually," he smiled slightly, "Mom would be proud of you. Your mother would have slapped me upside the head for being such a fool in the first place." Daniel laughed. "Yeah, she probably would have. But then she would have helped me fix it." I set down the dish I was holding. "That's what she always did. Loved me through my mistakes. That's what we did too, Dad, what we'll always do." I pulled my son into a hug, held on tight. "I know, son, I know." The next morning, I went to the cemetery. Margaret's grave was on a small hill under an oak tree. I'd picked the spot myself. She always loved oak trees. I sat on the bench beside her headstone. "Well, Maggie, I really stepped in it this time." The wind rustled through the leaves. "You tried to warn me. Claire tried. Daniel tried. But I was too lonely and too proud to listen. I wanted so badly to feel something again that I let a stranger into our home, into our life, into our bed." I wiped my eyes. "She took $180,000. She tried to take the house. She would have taken everything if the kids hadn't stopped her." I looked at the headstone. Margaret Rose Prescott, 1959-2023. Beloved wife, mother, grandmother. But here's the thing, Maggie. In some strange way, this whole mess brought me closer to Claire and Daniel than I've been in years. We talk every day now. I see the grandkids every weekend. The family is stronger than ever. I touch the cold granite. I miss you every day. I miss your voice, your laugh, your terrible cooking that I always pretended was delicious. I smiled through the tears. But I'm not alone anymore. And I'm not looking for someone to replace you. I understand now. You can't replace 45 years. You just carry it with you. I stood up slowly, knees aching. 71 years old and still here. I'll come back next week, sweetheart, and the week after that, and every week until it's my turn to join you. I kissed my fingers and touched them to the headstone. I love you, Maggie. Always have, always will. If you're watching this and you've lost your spouse, your partner, your lifelong companion, I understand. The loneliness is unbearable. The silence in the house, the empty chair at the dinner table, the cold spot in the bed where they used to sleep. And when someone comes along who makes that pain go away, even for a moment, you want to believe, you want to trust, you want to feel alive again. But here's what I learned. Predators know this. They count on it. They hang around grief groups, church socials, senior centers. They find the lonely ones, the vulnerable ones, the ones who are desperate for connection. And they become exactly what we need, until they've taken everything. If a new relationship seems too perfect, it probably is. If they're rushing you toward marriage, toward shared accounts, toward changing your will, there's a reason. And if your children are warning you that something's wrong, listen to them. They see things you can't because they love you enough to look.
I didn't listen, not at first. I pushed my daughter away, told her she was jealous, told her she didn't want me to be happy. She never stopped trying to save me anyway. That's what real love looks like. If you've been through something like this, if you lost money to a romance scammer, or you're worried about a parent or grandparent who's in a suspicious relationship, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Sometimes it helps just knowing you're not alone. And if you know someone who's vulnerable right now, share this video with them. It might be the wake-up call they need. I share stories like this every week here on John's Revenge Stories. Real people who stood up for themselves when everyone counted them out. If this story meant something to you, hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss the next one. And if you think Vanessa or Patricia or whatever she's calling herself now got exactly what she deserved, hit that like button. It really helps more people find these stories. Take care of yourselves, friends. And remember, if a new relationship seems too perfect, it probably is. Listen to your family. They see things you can't. I learned that the hard way. I'll see you in the next one.